Hello, dear students. I welcome you all on behalf of Sri Jayendra Ranjan classes. And dear student, in previous classes of this chapter, we have completed with the algae, bryophyta, and pteridophyta. And today, we are going to start and study complete discussion on the gymnosperms. See, gymnosperm is considered as a first phanerogames. These are the first phanerogames. And phanerogames first phanerogames means first seed containing plants are nothing but they are gymnosperms. Okay, so this we are going to talk about this in detail in gymnosperm about the first phanerogames. Okay, now this gymnosperm, if we talk, they are plant in which ovules are not enclosed by any ovary wall. So what is happening here? See, they have a seeds. An ovule actually get modified and form a seed. And if ovary wall is there, that is going to form pericarp, and then only fruit can be formed. But in gymnosperm, ovule is there, but ovary wall is not there. So because of this, there is no fruit formation, and these are the plant in which ovule is not enclosed by any ovary wall. So ovule remain exposed both before and after fertilization. In this, the gymnosperms, that is, gymnos means naked, and sperma means seeds. Naked seeds are produced, and this type of conical plants are belonging to this gymnosperm. When we talk about the seeds which are produced that developed by the post fertilization are not covered, are naked. Means seeds are naked. It is not covered by pericarp, and fruit is absent. Same way, in gymnosperm, embryo is present. So gymnosperms are embryophytic. Tracheophytic means vascular tissue is present. Archegoniates means archegonium is present. And phanerogames, matlab seed means seed containing plants. Okay, so they are the embryophytic, tracheophytic, archegoniate phanerogames. Okay, means they have embryo, they have vascular tissue, they have female sex organ that is archegonia, they have phanerogames. See, these are some of the gymnospermic plants which you can see. So this gymnosperm, if we talk mainly, they include some medium-sized trees or tall trees and shrubs. Herbs are usually not found in case of these gymnosperms. One of the gymnosperm is too much large, and that is known as giant redwood tree. That is sequoia is one of the tallest tree species known. See, and in sequoia, this type of plants are known to occur, which is the longest or tallest tree species. In this one is one more example we will be studying, that is a ginkgo, that is considered to be a living fossil. Okay, this is ginkgo that we will discuss in this part. Now, in this particularly, we can say in case of gymnosperm, the whole plant body is differentiated into the root, stem, and leaf. So they have a true root, they have a stem and leaf. And the roots, if we talk, they are generally taproot. Which type of root are found? Generally, taproot are found in case of the gymnosperm. And in roots of some gymnosperm, there is some genera of the gymnosperm, and their roots have a fungal association, and that is known as mycorrhiza. Okay, so mycorrhizal association can be seen in case of the some plants, and the example is pinus. See, this is the roots, and these roots can show a fungal association. See, this is a fungal association. The white thread-like structures are the nothing but fungus, and that is associated with the root. In some plant, cycas is there, which has some special type of root, and that are known as specialized roots, known as correlate roots. And these correlate roots of cycas are associated with a nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria or a blue green algae, that is a nostoc and an amina. Dear student, we have studied this already in the chapter biological classification, that nostoc and amina are the blue green algae which carry out nitrogen fixation. So this bacteria show association with the coralloid root, and coralloid root are the negatively geotrophic root. So this is some of the examples of the cycas. Now, apart from this root, if we talk, we remember in cycas also this coralloid root are considered as apogeotropic roots. Apogeotropic roots means negatively geotropic. And apart from this, after root, if we talk about the stem characteristic, then the stem are unbranched or branched. It is known that unbranched stem is found in case of cycas, and a branched stem is known to occur in case of the Pinus and Cedrus. So this is the characteristic of stem. You can see here the unbranched stem of cycas and branched stem of Pinus and Cedrus. You can see in this the following diagram. See, the branching is occurring here in the last one, but in the first one you are not seeing the branch. Anatomically, the stem shows a U stele. U stele means the proper true stele is found in case of the stem of the gymnosperm. After this characteristic of root and stem, the next characteristic that we can discuss, that is the leaves. And if we talk about leaf, the leaves are maybe simple or compound. Okay. Now, what do you mean by simple and compound? That we will discuss. And the cycas have pinnate leaves. See, we will be going to discuss this in the morphology chapter. Suppose the whole leaf is there like this. It may have cut, but this cut are not reaching to the central axis, that is midrib. This is known as midrib. If there is a complete leaf, or there can be a incision or cutting, but if cutting are not reaching to the midrib, then these all are the simple leaf. But if the cutting reaches to the midrib and form some leaflet, then these are the pinnately compound leaf. So in cycas, the pinnate leaves, pinnately compound leaf, persist for few years. And you can see this is the particularly pinnately compound leaf in case of the cycas. And the leaves in gymnosperm are also well adapted to withstand extreme of temperature, humidity, and wind. See, they can have a simple leaf, they can have a compound leaf. And compound pinnately compound leaves are known to occur in case of cycas, and they persist for years. Now, if we consider the leaves of gymnosperm, they are well adapted to the extreme condition like temperature, humidity, and wind. Now, what are these characteristics that help them to survive in the extreme conditions? So some of the conifers have a needle-like leaves that reduce the surface area, and their thick cuticle and stomata also help to reduce the water loss, because they are usually gymnosperm are considered as a xerophytes. And xerophytes, they have a thick cuticle, needle-like leaves, and the stomata. Then chances of loss of water get reduced. Okay, so due to this, plant can survive. If we talk about vascular tissues also, then in vascular tissue they have conjoined, collateral, and open conditions. See, the phloem is outside, xylem is inside. Phloem is outside, xylem is inside, and in between cambium is present. Because of the cambium, presence of cambium, the term open is used. Collateral means phloem is outside, okay, and xylem is towards the inner side. And in this, cambium is present, and both are associated in a form of one vascular bundle. Because of this, it is known as conjoint. So this conjoint collateral open condition is seen. And in conjoint collateral open, if we talk about the xylem and phloem vascular bundle, then in xylem Vessels are absent. You can see here, vessels are generally absent in the xylem, and companions are absent in the phloem. So, in place of vessels, tracheids mainly play a role of conduction in xylem, but in place of companion cell, albuminous cell are present. Albuminous cell are present in gymnosperms. Okay. Now, so these are the some of the characteristic which we have discussed. Now we are going to discuss some of the more characteristic. Now this gymnosperm, if we talk, they are included in gymnosperm are included in spermatophyta. And spermatophyta are nothing but seed bearing plants. So seed bearing plants are the gymnosperms. In gymnosperm there is a naked seeded plant and there is no fruit formation. There is no fruit formation in case of gymnosperm. Apart from this, fruit formation does not occur, but embryo and seed formation occurs. If we talk about distribution of gymnosperm, then gymnosperm are very limited in distribution. Gymnosperms are very limited in distribution. Now they are very limited in distribution because these gymnosperm are mainly found in they are mainly found in cold region. Okay, in India, if we talk in India, they are mainly found in Himalaya mountains. Himalaya mountain. So because of this, we can say, and by studying their anatomy, gymnosperms are xerophytes. Gymnosperms are xerophytes. And all gymnosperm have vascular tissue, so they are vascular plants. We have discussed that, and there are some exceptions we will discuss in this the later. Okay, dear students. So these are the some of the general characteristic of the gymnosperm. Now, whatever we are going to study, that is, they are going to study about the life cycle. Okay, so let's talk about the life cycle. Till now, we have discussed general characteristic. If we life study a life cycle, in life cycle also here also like the bryophyte and gymnosperm, there are two stages: sporophyte, which is diploid, and gametophyte, which is haploid. This sporophyte is independent, free living, dominant phase. And if it is dominant phase, then it is obviously differentiated into the root, stem, and leaf. And this sporophyte is a spore producing body which is independent, which is itself photosynthetic. But if we talk about gametophyte is dependent on sporophyte, and the gametophyte is small sized and it is non-vascular. Okay, so these are the characteristic which is defining a sporophyte and gametophyte. So we are going to discuss this in particularly detailed point of view. So here, if there is a monoecious gymnosperm, then both male cone and female cone can be present in the one plant. But if there is a particularly we can say dioecious gymnosperm, then there is a male plant and female plant which are different. So male cone and male cone will be produced on the different plant. Now I am just writing a one sporophyte and writing a particularly the cone which are produced over this. So suppose I am writing in life cycle sporophytic body here. Now if sporophyte is there, either both male cone and female cone are present on the one plant or on the separate sporophyte, but I am writing here on the one plant. They have male cone and they have female cone or female strobilus. Now this male cone is diploid because sporophyte is diploid. Same way female cone is also diploid. Now male cone, we know that cone is a group of sporophyll. So male cone is specifically a group of microsporophyll. And this female cone is a group of megasporophylls. Now if I write about the microsporophyll, then microsporophyll is nothing but we can it is similar to the stamen. And this megasporophyll is similar to the carpel of angiosperm. Now this microsporophyll have microsporangium, and microsporangium are known as pollen sac, whereas megasporophyll or carpel have megasporangium. And this megasporangium are nothing but represent ovule, so they are also diploid, and pollen sac is also diploid. Now in pollen sac, that is a microsporangium, the microspore mother cell is present. They have microspore mother cell. And this microspore mother cell is diploid. This microspore mother cell undergo meiosis and produce microspore. produce microspore. Now, this is a microspore and megasporangium have a megaspore mother cell and megaspore mother cell is diploid. Now this megaspore mother cell also undergo meiosis, and that meiosis particularly produced megaspore mother cell undergo meiosis and produced megaspore. And that megaspore is particularly, we can say, haploid. Now this haploid megaspore germinate and form female gametophyte. So megaspore on germination particularly form female gametophyte. And female gametophyte is haploid, is represent endosperm. Okay. Whereas microspore on germination produced pollen grain. Microspore from pollen grain, and that pollen grain is nothing but male gametophyte. Now this pollen grain is male gametophyte that have male gamete. Okay, they have male gamete. Whereas female gametophyte, that is endosperm, which have that is endosperm which have archegonia. And this archegonia that is particularly present here that have female egg cell. That egg cell is haploid. That egg cell is haploid. Male gamete is haploid. Both this egg and male gamete fertilize and form zygote. And this zygote form embryo. That embryo is going to form seed, and that seed germinate and form a sporophyte. So dear student, here if we talk, then the zygote is diploid. Zygote is diploid. Embryo is diploid. seed is diploid, sporophyte is diploid, but before that, this all are haploid structure. Okay, and diploid structure particularly was present before this because microspore and megaspore are haploid. Okay, so from here before this, these are the diploid structure, and from here also you can this see the left side one are the particular haploid structure that representing gametophytic generation, and other on the right side represent a sporophytic generation. So like this, the life cycle occurred in the sporophytic gametophyte. So by studying this life cycle in this diagrammatic pattern, what we can understand? That is the question. And if you want to understand, then we consider that all gymnosperm are heterosporous tetraphyte. They produce only two types of spore. So all gymnosperm are heterosporous. They are heterosporous plants. Means they produce two kinds of haploid spore, that is a microspore and megaspore, within microsporangium and megasporangium respectively. Means microspore is produced in microsporangium, that is pollen sac, and megaspore is produced within megasporangium, that is ovule, as we have seen in the particular previous diagram. Here we have discussed that particularly cones are present, and cone is nothing but a group of sporophyll. So sporangia are born on sporophyll, which are arranged spirally along an axis to form a lax, means loose or compact cone. Okay, so here we can write sporophylls form loose, means lax or compact cone or strobilus. Apart from this, we have know that there are two type of cone. So male cone is made up of microsporophyll, and female cone is made up of megaspore. Within microsporangium, microspore will be produced, and within megasporangium, megaspore will produce. But the germination of microspore takes place within microsporangium. We remember it is known that germination of microspore is endosporic, and germination of microspore is endosporic, means this germination of microspore take place within microsporangium, take place within microsporangium. Now we know that microspore develop into pollen grain, and that pollen grain is considered as a male gametophyte, and here gametophyte are highly reduced. In gymnosperm, the particularly gametophyte is reduced in size, you can say, because it is made up of only limited number of cells. Because of this, gametophyte is reduced. So this is way particular occurs the development. We know that the plants can be monoecious or dioecious, as I have told you during the life cycle, that when a male cone and female cone are present on the same tree, that is monoecious. An example of monoecious is pinus. And if we talk about dioecious, then example is cycas. So this is the thing with respect to the example. Now we have seen that here endosperm is haploid because it is formed before fertilization, and then the male and female gamete form fertilize after the particular formation of the zygote. So they are particularly fertilized, okay, and endosperm is formed before fertilization, so we can say endosperm is haploid. In gymnosperm, endosperm is a nutritive tissue, and endosperm is haploid because it is formed before fertilization of gametes. In angiosperm, we will study that comparative to the gymnosperm. In angiosperm, we will study that the endosperm is triploid because it is formed after fertilization, but here it is formed before fertilization of gamete. And endosperm is a nutritive tissue. And within this endosperm, which is also known as female gametophyte, and within this female gametophyte, we'll come to know that the two or more archegonia or female sex organ in one ovule are produced. One or two archegonia. Now we have just studied that female gametophyte is small, but female gametophyte is retained within megasporangium. Endosperm is retained within megasporangium. So here one of the important point is that female gametophyte, which is haploid here, that remain retained within megasporangium. Okay. In bryophyte and pteridophyte, we have studied that male and female gametophyte have an independent free living existence, means they can live free. But here in gymnosperm and angiosperm, we will study that male and female gametophyte do not have a free living existence. They remain within sporangia retained on the sporophyte. Means this both male and female gametophyte in angiosperm and gymnosperm, and here presently in gymnosperm, we have to remember that the gametophyte retained over the parent sporophyte. Here, if we talk about the pollination occurs through the wind, so it is known as anemophily, and directly, particularly, pollination is going to occur. So, for direct pollination, to understand, in case of gymnosperm, we have to study the structure of ovule. So, in gymnosperm, if we talk about the structure of ovule, the ovule is unitagmic and orthotropous. Now, unitagmic and orthotropous means, suppose this is a ovule, and in ovule, this is the integument. And within integument, you will see that here there is a pollen chamber, here there is two archegonia, within that there is egg cell, and this is endosperm. Actually, nucellus is also found here. So we can draw like this. This is nucellus. And within nucellus, you will find this whole region. This whole region is represented as endosperm, which is haploid. These are the two archegonia, and within archegonium there is an egg cell, and this is pollen chamber where directly pollen grain get landed. And here you will find a funicle like this. So this is a funicle. This is a chalaza, and this is a micropyle end. And when micropyle, chalaza, and funicle are in a one line, you can see micropyle, chalaza, and funicle are in one line, then this is known as orthotropous ovule. Here, integument is only one. Because of this, we call it as a unitegmic ovule. So this is the particular structure of ovule in case of gymnosperm. So because of this, pollination is direct and pollen grain are directly landed in the what we can say pollen chamber, and they get stored there. So this is the what about the life cycle which we have studied. So now we have to understand some more particular important points. So secondary growth occur in stem and root in case of gymnosperm. Now, by studying this gymnosperm are heterosporous, we have discussed already. Okay, they produce haploid, microspore, and megaspore. You can see this is the particularly two different cones which are found here. Now, the two kinds of spore are produced within the sporangium that are woven on the sporophyll, which are arranged spirally along the axis called to form a compact strobili or cone. So, sporophylls form a strobilus or cone. Or you can see this is a particularly a diagram of cone. Okay. Now, the strobili or strobilus bearing microsporophyll and megasporangia are called microsporangiate or male strobili, similar to male flower. You can see this is the female cone and this is the male cone. Okay, you can see here this is the female cone and this is the male cone. So what the statement is saying, strobili or cone bearing microsporophyll means male cone. Okay, is present like this, and female cone can also be present. The microspores which are developed in the male gametophytic generation, which are highly reduced and confined only to limited number of cells, that also we have considered. This reduced gametophyte is called as pollen grain. So which pollen grain represent the reduced male gametophyte. So you can see this is the pollen grain, and which is just showing a particularly male gametophyte. The development of pollen grain takes place within the microsporangium, means pollen sac. In pollen sac, pollen grain are produced, means it is endosporic germination. The cone-bearing megasporule within ovule or integrated megasporangium are called macrosporangiate or female strobili. And you can see female strobili like this. So it is a group of megasporophyll. The microsporophyll or megasporophyll may be born on the same tree, means pinus, or on the different trees. Cycas means cycas is a dioecious, pinus is monoecious. You can see this is the pinus. This is the microsporophyll. This is the megasporophyll. Okay. Whereas cycas, if we talk, cycas is a particularly, we can say, dioecious plant, and they have a female plant and male plant. Now, in cycles, you have to remember that this is a male cone. In male cone, male plant, male cone is present, but in female cone is absent in case of the female plant. So, in female plant, female cone is absent. So, this is nothing but megasporophylls. Okay. Now, the megaspore mother cell is differentiated to form from one of the cell of the nucellus. And nucellus cell will form a megaspore mother cell. And nucellus is protected by an envelope or integument, and the composite structure is called a ovule. Okay, the megaspore mother cell divide mutically to form the megaspore that we have discussed in life cycle. So one of the megaspore enclosed within the megasporangium develop into the multicellular female gametophyte. And this female gametophyte, which we have discussed in the life cycle, the multicellular female gametophyte that bear two or more archegonia or female sex organ. That also we have discussed. The multicellular female gametophyte is retained within the megasporangium and is called an endosperm. So female gametophyte is nothing but an endosperm which is haploid. Then it is known that gametophytes remain within the sporangium. Means gametophytes are particularly developed on the parent sporophyte within the sporangium. Pollen grain released from the microsporangium. The pollination is direct and anemophilous. Means pollen grain are released from the, particularly we can say pollen grain are released from the male particular plant, and this gets stored in the pollen chamber directly. So we call it as a direct, and it occur through the wind pollination. The pollination occur with the help of wind. So it is a anemophilous, which is known as wind pollination. Okay, dear students. So this is with respect to the particular characteristic. As we can see, they are carried by the air current and come in contact with the opening of the ovule born on megasporophyll. The pollen tube later on developed after reaching to the particular ovule. Pollen tube carries the male gamete towards the archegonia in the ovule and discharge the content near the mouth of the archegonia. And we know that within archegonia there is an egg cell, as I have shown in the diagram. And this is called a siphonogamous oogamy. Means pollen tube formation is responsible for the fusion of male and female gamete. Because of this, it is known as syphogamy. If you talk about cycles show both siphonogamy, means pollen tube formation, and need water for fertilization. There is zoodiogamy. Okay, so because male gametes are multiciliated but carried by pollen tube, means water is not required, but actually the gametes are motile. Okay, in others, male gamete are non-motile. Usually in gymnosperm, other plants are there where male gamete are non-motile, but in cycles, the male gamete are motile. They are multiciliated. When zygote develop into embryo and ovule into the seed, that also we know, and the seeds are naked, not covered by the fruit wall. So that we have all discussed till now is the nothing but general characteristic and the life cycle. Okay. Now after studying general characteristic and life cycle, we can note down that the life cycle of this gymnosperm is diplontic, and diplontic life cycle is seen because gametophyte generation is short-lived and gametophyte is very reduced and depend on in sporophyte, and majority stages are of sporophyte. So we call it as what, a diplontic life cycle. Okay, dear students. So this is about the general characteristic of this particular gymnosperm and their life cycle. Okay, I hope you have understood very well in detail about this general characteristic and doubts. So let's discuss some of the questions. Gymnosperm are characterized by enclosed seed, naked seeds, no seeds, none of this. So we have studied ovary wall is absent, so they are known as naked seeds. Giant redwood tree sequoia belongs to. So that also we have discussed just now that they belong to the gymnosperm. Generally, taproot system is seen, and we have studied the roots are of taproot in gymnosperm. Okay, so till now we have discussed all the part of this particular gymnosperm. Now we have to discuss the particular classification. Okay, so in next class we are going to discuss the classification and polyembryony, these two things in case of the gymnosperm. So in today's lecture our all discussion was about the this life cycle and the general characteristics. So till next lecture, thank you.